Hi guys, Mr. Gillen here, just with a few extra examples for changing the subject. We've had a few questions about a couple of different questions. So as always, we are delighted at that, and we'll have a look at some of them just now. So the first one that we were asked about was question 6, and it was because the letter that we were looking to change the subject to was on the denominator of a fraction. So we've got y equals 3 over x, and we are looking to change the subject to x. And how do we do that? Well, ultimately, as always, the subject will be on the left-hand side. So we want to get this x here. We want to get this x here on the left-hand side of the equal sign and on its own. At the moment, it's in the denominator, so it's currently dividing. So we're going to do what the opposite is. We need to get it from here up to here. The opposite of dividing is multiplying. So when it comes over, it multiplies that y. So we end up with xy equals 3. And now we've got the letter x on the top line. We don't have it as a denominator. The next thing we need to do is get rid of this y. We need to get the y over here. Well, the x and the y are currently stuck together, which means that we're multiplying. So if we take the y over, opposite side, opposite operation, so that becomes 3 over y. Once you do a few of these, they'll start to become second nature to you. The next one we've got was 5 equals a plus 2. Again, all over x, and we're looking to change the subject to x. I'm going to do the same sort of thing. I want to bring the x up. So if I'm dividing on this right-hand side, when it comes up, it becomes 5x, and we've got a plus 2 on the right-hand side. I've got 5x equals a plus 2. Think back when we did equations. I've got 5x, I want x on its own. So that 5 is going to come over. It goes from multiplying to dividing. And that is us change the subject to x with both of them. The second question that we had was with regards to question 8. Question 8 is by far and away the trickiest changing the subject questions you'll have seen, and it's going to ask you to employ all of the knowledge that you've picked up since we started this topic itself. So the first one we've got is v squared equals u squared plus 2as, and we are looking to change the subject to u. So eventually I want to have u on its own on the left hand side of the equal sign. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I need to get rid of this 2as. It's plus 2as. So the 2, the a and the s are all multiplying. They're all stuck together. So I can move that as one thing. If it's going to go over to the opposite side, then it's going to be the opposite operation. The opposite of adding is, of course, subtracting. So that'll become v squared subtract 2as equals u squared. Now, from my knowledge of change of subject, I know that the subject is going to be in the left-hand side. So what I'm going to do just now is I am going to flip this whole expression. So as far as what's in the expression goes, nothing's changed. I've just turned it around. So u squared is equal to v squared minus 2as. The last thing I need to do is get rid of this squared sign. The opposite of squaring something is square rooting something. So when that comes over, it becomes the square root of everything that's on that right-hand side. So it becomes the square root of v squared, take away 2as. Okay, that's a hard one. There's lots of different things going on there. I'm also going to look at 8f because it's also got some tricky stuff involved. It's L equals 3 plus 6a. That's square root 6a actually. And we want to change the subject to a. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the 3. I'm trying to get the a on its own. So I'm going to get the things that are furthest away from it away. So this 3 is going to be the first thing that's going to come over to the other side of the equal sign. There's nothing in front of the 3, so I'm assuming it's positive. The opposite of positive is negative. So L minus 3 is equal to the square root of 6a. The next thing that I'm going to do is, I know eventually I'm going to have the a on the left-hand side on its own. So I'm going to flip the whole expression. So the square root of 6a is equal to L minus 3. And notice that's not changed anything. All I've done there is I've turned it around. I've not manipulated anything, so it's the exact same. So now I've got to try and get rid of this square root sign. The square root sign is stopping me from getting to the 6, so I need to get rid of this square root sign. What's the opposite of square root? Well, it's going to be squaring something. So when that square root comes over to the opposite side, it's going to square the L and it's going to square the -3. So I'm going to put brackets in and I'm squaring it. So that's me getting rid of the square root. The last thing I need to do, as always, to get the a on its own is get the 6 over. It's 6a, so it's 6 times a. So the opposite of multiplying by 6 is dividing by 6. And that is how we complete the square. Question 8 is definitely the hardest you've been exposed to, so take your time with it, and I'm sure it will go well. Okay, hopefully that clears up a few of the questions we've been having. As always, it's brilliant when pupils are asking questions, so if you have got any more, please keep them coming. As for now, this is Mr. Gillen signing off. Speak to you all soon.